Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, we got this gentleman that wants to ask you a question about your Feustel.
My name is Braden Conley, and I was needing to know what kind of physical fitness do you have to be in to go into space?
Braden, that's a great question, and I can tell you that many of us as astronauts try to stay as fit as possible, and that's more important for somebody like myself because I'm a spacewalker. That means I go outside when I get to space in a spacesuit and I do work on the spacecraft. And the spacesuit I wear is the one that you see over my shoulder. That's the EVA or extravehicular activity spacesuit. And in order to work in those suits, we have to stay very physically fit because the work is demanding. And we stay in the spacesuits for about 6 to 7 hours each time we go to work. So that's almost the same amount of time that you spend in school each day from morning until you get to go home. But we don't get lunch break, we don't get recess break, we don't even get a bathroom break. So we have to stay pretty fit to be able to work in those spacesuits.
Wow, that was a pretty good answer. All right, we have a little lady here, and she wants to ask you a question.
My name is Annika, and I was wondering, what do y'all do in space?
Well, that's a great question as well. We do a lot of things in space. Most of the work that's being done on the International Space Station has to do with experiments that are sent by scientists from Earth. And much of the work they do is related to the medical field, material science field, so science and engineering. There's also some biological experiments that go on. And so everything that we do in space, we try to do things that are important for people that are living on the Earth. And we also do things to help us understand how to do a better job of living in space, so that we can live in space longer and be able to utilize the resources of space better. So we stay quite busy. Sometimes the work we do is just repair work. So, for example, when we fly to the International Space Station, we may have to change out components or parts on the space station that are broken, kind of like you might change the tire on your car or make a replacement part there for something that's broken. So we have to fix things in space, but we also do science right here.
Wow. All right, we have another one here that wants to ask you a question. And what would you like to know?
Is it hard getting back down from space?
Is it hard to get back down from space? Well, it's not that hard to get back down from space. And the way we get down from space is by slowing down our spacecraft. So when we launch into space, we travel at 17,500 miles an hour. And that's pretty fast. That's faster than the car that goes to your parents' house, quite a bit faster. When you go down the highway, we travel at about 60 miles an hour. But we go 17,000 miles an hour, so that's very fast. And the way we get home from space is we slow down. And I'm going to tell you how that works. And then you ever tie a rock to the end of the string and try to spin it around the top of your head. And you know that as long as you're spinning that rock, the string will stay nice and tight. Well, that's kind of how gravity in the spaceship works. As long as the spaceship's going really fast, that gravity string stays kind of tight and it holds the rocket spinning around the planet. But as soon as you slow down the spin of that rock, gravity wants to pull that rock back in. In the spaceship case, when you slow down, gravity starts to pull the rocket back in and you start to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. And that's how we come back to the planet. We just slow down. We kind of put the brakes on and gravity does the rest. That's the spaceship come back to Earth.
Thank you. Very good question. That's something that I would like to answer too. Okay, little lady, what would you like to ask him?
My name is Allie Anderson, and what is it like in space?
That's a great question. And I like to tell people it's a little bit like floating in a swimming pool. If you can imagine floating in the middle of a pool, not on the top, not on the bottom, but right about in the middle. Only in this case you can breathe because you're inside a spaceship. That's kind of the way it feels, just like floating, just like you're in a pool.
Okay, that's a good answer, wasn't it? All right, we have another pretty little lady here that wants to ask you a question.
My name is Stacy Barnes, And what's your favorite outer space food?
Well, let's see. What's my favorite outer space food? I like all of the food, but one of the things we get to take to space are M&Ms. Those are my favorite. And one of those is my favorite because they're the most fun to eat. Because they float around and you have to try to grab them all at the same time so they don't float away.
What did he say he liked to eat?
Wow, that's our favorite too. Okay, do you have a question?
My name is Sam Martin. How long does it take you to get on the moon on a rocket ship?
Okay, so I think the question was how long does it take us to get to space or get to the moon? Is that the right question?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, for us to launch into space, for us to get up above the planet, it takes us about 8 minutes, which is not very long at all. So the rocket goes really fast. So in 8 minutes, we can float above the planet about 200 miles high, which isn't really that far away. It'd be like in your house driving, driving across halfway over to, maybe over to Jackson or something like that. It's not that far away, but that's how far we are above the planet. But it takes us 8 minutes. Now, if we want to go to the moon, it takes us a little longer. That takes about 2 days. It's a little farther away. So the rocket ship flies above the planet 250 miles away. But the moon is 250,000 miles away. So it's 1,000 times farther away than the rocket station.
Wow. Anybody else have any questions? Boy, you want to come up here?
No, I've got some.
Okay, hands down,
First of all, how much does the space
bottom.
weigh, the one that you wear? How much does it weigh? We know the one we've got standing here weighs 500 pounds on its stand, and we hope that it doesn't weigh that much on you.
Bottom.
Actually, it does weigh that much. The spacesuits are extremely heavy. If you said 500 pounds, we think it's closer to maybe 350 or 400 pounds, but it's all about the same. It's a very heavy spacesuit. Fortunately, in space, it doesn't weigh anything. You don't feel the weight of the spacesuit in space because anything feels like it's weightless. So there's no gravity that's affecting us that we can feel. So everything feels like it doesn't weigh anything. And it would be like having that spacesuit in water with some life preservers on it that allow it to float. That's how it is in space. It doesn't actually have any weight. It's very light on our bodies.
So in order to put it on, then, do you step into it?
It'll move with it, but it really doesn't move.
Do you have to step into it because it's so heavy? How do you get something like that on?
Well, on Earth, we have to use cranes to lift up the spacesuit once we get inside of it, and we use that to into the neutral launch route, the large swimming pool that we train in the spacesuit. But in space, again, even in the spacecraft, nothing has any weight. Everything is floating. Even the spacecraft is floating. So it goes around the planet, but we all go around the planet together. So even the spacesuit in the spaceship doesn't weigh anything at all. It has no weight. Nothing has any weight in space when we're going floating around the planet.
What does it feel like bodily when you take off, when you blast off? What kind of feeling do you personally have?
Well, I've never driven in a dragster. I imagine it feels a little bit like that when it launches off the pad and it's accelerating very quickly. You feel like you can push back in the chair, so when you're sitting at your desk in school a little later today, just imagine that there's a large force pushing against you, pushing on your chest, right back into that seat as it launches off the planet. The rocket ship shakes a lot, it makes a lot of noise, it feels very violent.